My name is Judeline Pierre Saint, and I am officially an electrical engineer graduate. Wow. Growing up, whenever I thought about my future, being an electrical engineer is not what I had in mind. So, how did I get here? Let's just say that God had His own plans. I guess it's true when people say that what you need is already in you because this all started from my love for math when I was in high school that was noticed by someone who suggested this major to me. I started to do some research about it. I went to God and I felt like He confirmed it, so I ran with it. But little did I know the journey that He had awaiting for me. The college life for me started at Miami-Dade College, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Like, I was excelling in my classes. I started to get more involved around campus when I was introduced to this area called the Makers Lab. Now, the Makers Lab is where all the engineering students hung out. Like, I spent most of my time there because it was just a place filled with creativity where people was working on like robotic systems. It was really fun. It was filled with just creativity where people were building things, working on things, and I was always able to find help because a lot of the engineering students were more advanced than I was. Like they were already further in their classes that they were taking, so I was always able to get help. And I spent most of my time there. Every day once class was over, I would just go straight into there, hang out, where I became very acquainted with even the workers that were working there. It became to a point where I almost started working there, but it was between working there and being a math tutor. And of course, I chose being a math tutor, and it was a decision that I do not regret because that was also an area where I truly just enjoyed as well. Now, being in the Makers Lab, I started to low-key get bullied by this young man. He kept telling me like that I was dumb and that I was stupid. And I was already dealing with the fact that everybody was ahead of me or like they were just further along than I was. So when he kept telling me those things, it really made me feel really bad. And I remember just making a decision like, okay, today's gonna be my last day here in this Maker's Lab because I can no longer deal with the things that this young man is telling me. So I remember going to the supervisor there because I became very acquainted with them. I became very familiar with them. So I knew that if I just disappeared, they would have wondered what happened to me. So I went to the guy and I was like, I'm no longer coming to the Maker's Lab. Today would be my last day. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, this young man keeps telling me that I'm dumb and that I'm stupid. And it's really just affecting me and I no longer want to be around here. And he just really encouraged me. He told me that the only opinion that really matters was my own, how I viewed myself. He asked me, do you think that you're stupid? I was like, no. He's like, do you think that you're dumb? I was like, no. And he was like, there you have it. Don't let the opinion of this young man take away this thing that you have come to enjoy. Because I really did. I enjoyed being in the Makers Lab. I felt cozy. I felt like home. That's where I spent all of my time. So when he told me that, I was like, you know what? You're right. And he also was like, and you need to stick up for yourself. So that's exactly what I did. When the young man came again, I was like, look, I am not stupid. I am not dumb. And you need to stop telling me that. And he stopped. When I think back to that day, I really do believe that the Lord led the man to speak those words to me because if I made that decision to leave, that's a habit I would have continued on with the rest of my life. Anytime somebody had something negative to say about me, I would have ran, whether it was true or not. So I really thank God that I was able to defend myself and speak up because whenever the Lord calls us to a journey, it's going to be hard. It's going to feel intimidating and people are going to have many things to say about us. But the most important thing is like, hey, what do you believe? Are you going to believe the lies you're telling yourself and the ones that the enemy is feeding you? Or are you going to believe what God already said that you can do through him? I called the two most important women in my life, my mother and my pastor, Pastor Marilyn, and they both kind of said the same thing. Like they just encouraged me to really just focus on my education and not worry about like having to make money and doing certain things. Like they let me know that the Lord will provide for me, especially since he has called me to this journey. I don't have to put myself in a position where I'm gonna burn out. And I really I felt so encouraged. I felt like a burden was lifted. And I want to give a shout out to my parents because they really gave me the opportunity to just focus on school and not have to worry about working. And I needed that. I thank God for the favor that I found in them regarding that matter because I really was not going to be able to manage all of that because I didn't have the I did not have the capacity to manage all of that. So I really thank my parents. Like, I just want to say thank you to them. Shout out to them. My experience as an online student at FIU was the worst. I remember telling myself, like, if I continue as an online student, there's no way I'm going to graduate as an electrical engineer because I was not connecting with my professors. Everything was just very robotic and it wasn't registering with me. And I remember reaching out to one of my old professors at Miami-Dade College. He was my physics teacher. And I emailed him because he also worked at FIU but on a different campus. And I just remember telling him, like, I'm at FIU, I'm online, and I hate it. And his response to this day makes me laugh every time that I remember it. He was like, Judeline, you're too much of a social creature to be an online student. And I laughed, but the moment that I read that message, I got the strength to switch from online to on campus. The real reason why I started as an online student instead of on campus was because I felt intimidated. I honestly struggled with believing that I can actually be on campus and pass my class and I can do the work that I'm supposed to do. I don't know why, but it was just something that I was really struggling with at that time. So when he reminded me who I was, because in the moment I felt like that, I felt like I don't connect with online. I don't feel like I should be online, but fear was really gripping me. So as I read his message, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be online anymore. So I transitioned to being on campus, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. With all the challenges that I've experienced, all the doubts, all the fears, all the insecurities, I am now an electrical engineer, and I'm so happy. The very thing that I asked the Lord for is what I have. When I thought about my graduation before, I dreaded it. I was not excited about it because I still felt so disconnected. I didn't feel like I knew what was going to happen next. But I can say this confidently that I still don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that God is with me. I know that He has led me this far, and because He has led me, He will continue to lead me. So I just want to encourage everyone who's on a journey, because we all are on a journey. The only difference is who we are allowing to lead. So the first thing that I would say is allow the Lord to lead you, because when He's the one leading you, no matter what hurdles you may face, no matter what comes your way, you will be able to overcome it, because He is your rear guard. He will help you out of any situation you feel like you can't overcome. The second thing, trust Him, and trust the fact that He will provide for you everything you need on your journey, whether that be encouragement, whether that be resources, people. Know that those things are already laid up for you, and as you continue on, everything that you need will come. And the last thing that I would say is don't compare your journey to anybody else's, because when you compare your journey to other people's journey, you lose focus and you're not able to see what God is trying to do in you, with you, and through you. If He said He's going to do something, He is going to do it. Today, I am a living testimony that what God said He would do, He would do. If He started something in you, if He has allowed your hands to touch upon something, He is going to carry you and guide you through the whole thing.
Woo!